Procedures are returned. Do we waive calling of the roll?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's try.
All right, Brian. Let's just try to get through this best we can. Let's take a look at Commonwealth, what we marked as Commonwealth Exhibit 96A. Tell us what we're looking at.
Those were items that were located in that initial search that I spoke of. The detectives were searching downstairs. They located what they believed to be some items of interest in that closet.
Was there 96 before that?
No.
Okay.
I made it 96. I made 96.
96.
96B.
Judge, can we approach?
Okay. Check.
Okay, let's take a look at Commonwealth Exhibit. Okay. Does this picture accurately reflect what was photographed in the janitor's closet?
It does.
Okay, let's take a look at Commonwealth Exhibit 98. What are we looking at here?
This is where we move. It's later in the evening at this juncture, and we are going to do a process, a blood detection chemical called Blue Star, in that upper area where we saw that large blood stain near the women's restroom. Blue Star is a chemical that causes blood to fluoresce. Essentially what we do is we spray this chemical over the floor, and even trace amounts of blood, because that is a pretty busy carpet, will fluoresce. So we can see a lot more pattern, and sometimes we can even see drops that we didn't see before. So that's very important to us. So this is a picture going into Tom Seaman's office. When applying the Blue Star, we recognized two small drops fluorescing. That's what the placard there indicates. We noticed two small drops, and the protocol for using Blue Star calls for, as soon as you notice something like that that's been hit with the Blue Star, that we stop, swab the area before we further dilute it. So while we were spraying, we stopped, took swabs of that area before further diluting it with the Blue Star.
Okay, and then I think, let's look at Commonwealth Exhibit 99. What are we looking at there?
Those are the two small drops with some pointers just to show very specifically in relation to the placards where we collected the stains from that we got the fluorescence. We had to put the arrows there while the fluorescence was still going on, because when we turned the lights back on, we totally lost where the spots were due to the pattern or potentially the light blood, whatever the material was there. We wanted to make sure that we captured it as best we could.
Okay, and what's our next one? Commonwealth Exhibit 100?
Yes, this is us using the same Blue Star process down the hallway. And you can see here on the right side of the picture that there is that larger stain there right in front of the women's restroom. And you can also see as you go down the hallway, there's some more staining that's much easier to see than it was before. And it's because we're causing it to fluoresce. The red color that you're seeing is the way we photograph this is through what's called an extended exposure, which means we leave the shutter on the camera so all that fluorescing light can get into the lens. So here, the red tint is from the exit sign. We tried to cover it up, but that red color paints on. So the red doesn't really have anything to do with anything other than the exit sign. But the area that's fluorescing blue is a positive reaction with the Blue Star for the presence of blood.
Let me ask you, Detective, are there streaking patterns here?
There are.
What does that suggest to you?
In addition to the large stain that you can see here, there's stains going back this way. You can see stains dragging this way, stains here, stains over here that we couldn't see before. That something moved back and forth through that blood. I can't tell you what it was, but clearly something moved back and forth through that blood, was drugged through that blood. I can't tell you exactly what that was.
Okay, let's look at Commonwealth Exhibit 101. What are we looking at here?
We are looking at the interior of Michelle's office. given that the investigation was ongoing. We didn't have any really good photographs of that yet. We wanted to make sure, just in case something in the office was relevant to the investigators, that we had some shots of that early on.
Almost 102.
Same thing, shots of Michelle's office.
Let's see, almost 103. What are we looking at here?
This is the next day. After we got done with the Blue Star and all of that stuff, that was sort of a wrap for us for the evening. We went home to get a couple hours of sleep until we moved on to the post-mortem examination in the morning.
Okay. So that's the autopsy, correct?
That's correct.
Did you attend the autopsy?
I did.
Okay. And was anyone with you?
Yes, both Detectives Carnahan and Detectives Rosen were both with me at the time.
And how long were you at the autopsy?
The autopsy started at approximately 9:30 in the morning. It was at their Fort Thomas location at the time, and we made it back to the crime scene at approximately 2 o'clock.
So you went back to Thermo Fisher?
We did, and
Okay.
that's the photo that you have there.
What was
sir.
the purpose of going back?
Just to do a further examination of some items that were of interest from the prior evening.
So this picture was actually taken the day after?
Second day, yes,
After
sir.
you went to the autopsy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what do we have here? Just office space?
Again, that is the office space and the janitor's closet.
Okay, let's see. Well, where's the janitor's closet?
The janitor's closet is,
Yes. Almost 104.
and again, we're taking an orienting shot because the next shot, when we went back and took a closer look at the janitor's closet, had a stain on the door frame. It was a reddish-brown stain that was suspicious to us. We again photographed it well, attempted to test it. There's a large amount of blood there, or potential blood. We tested it with phenolphthalein presumptively for blood. It did not come up, nor did it react with the phenolphthalein. It appeared to be paint or something of that nature.
Almost 105.
Numbering that stain, despite the fact that our presumptive test failed, we still collect a sample of that stain as best we can, just for future testing, just in case. Again, it is a presumptive test, it's not 100%, so we go ahead and we collect the sample anyway.
Almost 106.
We have some detectives also looking through the warehouse at this time to see if they see anything out of the ordinary. This was, that stairwell there goes up, as you can see, to the second floor, that open mezzanine area, and at the base of that was a tow motor.
Okay, Commonwealth Exhibit 107.
And on that tow motor was a little box of tools and stuff that they obviously used to do their job there at the warehouse. Of particular interest in that box was a little utility knife, a box cutter type knife.
Commonwealth Exhibit 108. What are we looking at?
We are looking at just a more close-up picture singling out that utility knife.
And was that utility map collected?
It was,
Okay.
indeed.
Commonwealth Exhibit 109.
This is the start of a closer. Again, now we are moving.
Okay, what are we looking at here?
We're moving into a closer examination of the janitor's closet.
Let's take 110.
That is a garbage can with a little utility sort of attachment for cleaning supplies.
Okay. And Commonwealth Exhibit 111.
This is just some more photography again of that janitorial closet. At this juncture, we don't know what's important and what's not, so we're just trying to get some good overall photos of the interior of the closet.
And 112.
As we look at the closet, we find some potentially reddish-brownish stains that we want to just ensure they don't appear to be blood, but we want to make sure that we go through the protocol that we do with the phenolphthalein just to make sure that they are not. That is an overall picture, and then
Commonwealth Exhibit 113 as well.
is a close-up of that stain that we thought, nah, maybe, maybe not, but again, we tested it, presumptively was not blood, did not appear to be blood, nor did it swab like blood. But we just wanted to make sure that it was not.
Commonwealth Exhibit 114.
This is the sink. There is a wet sink in the janitor's closet. Of particular interest in this sink, in addition to what you can see visually, there was also a really strong smell of bleach in that area.
Okay. And Commonwealth Exhibit 115.
115 is one of the false positives for Blue Star is bleach because it's such a heavy oxidizer. And when the Blue Star comes into contact with the bleach, it almost like sparkles, it just flashes and goes out. When Blue Star comes into contact with blood, it's a real long, dull glow. So this, when we sprayed it, obviously we could smell the bleach. There was a bright flash. And that flash is denoted in that photo. That really bright blue reaction is what you're seeing in that photo right there.
Will bleach clean blood away?
Bleach will.
Commonwealth Exhibit 116. Same sink.
It's the same sink, and what we're doing here is just to orient. You can see a little bit of that Blue Star reaction, but we're also using some flash photography at that time, just so that we can orient where we're getting that reaction a little bit better.
Okay. Commonwealth Exhibit 117.
In an abundance of caution, we went ahead and we took the P-trap from that sink, just in the event that there was any type of cleanup or anything like that, and that there could be potential for biological evidence. Again, in an abundance of caution, we went ahead and took the P-trap from the sink.
And what do we look at in Commonwealth Exhibit 118?
As we got information from the medical examiner's office, sort of some preliminary thoughts from them, and we received information from other detectives, we thought it would be prudent to go back to the area that we believe the assault started and attempt to collect latent prints from that area, just in the event that whoever the assailant was braced themselves either on the door frame of the women's restroom or on that wall, or during the assault fell into the wall. We wanted to make sure that if there were latent prints there to be recovered, that we did.
Okay. So tell the jury, what are latent prints?
Latent prints are prints that you can't see with your naked eye. We have to do something to them in order to make them visible. The most basic process, which you've probably heard of and or seen before, is when you put black powder on them and the fingerprints showed up. Despite being one of the oldest techniques, it's probably still one of the ones we use the most. And that's what we did in this particular circumstance.
Okay. Commonwealth Exhibit 119.
Again, we wanted to make sure that before anything else happened at that scene, that we at least made the attempt to look at if while whoever pried on that door touched the wall. We wanted to make sure that if the latent prints were there, that we recovered them. And again, we processed with black powders and did not have any results.
Further processing on that day. So this would be May 30th, correct?
Correct.
Did you do any further investigative work or forensic testing that day?
No, we did not. We
Okay.
cleared that scene after we finished that at approximately 10:30 in the evening.
Okay, let's go to the following day. What is that, May 31st, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, what did you do that day?
We left there, went back to the office, and on 5/31 at 01:20, which is 1 o'clock in the morning, I executed a search warrant on David Dooley's pickup truck.
Did you take photographs of that?
I did.
Okay, let's take a look at Commonwealth's Exhibit 120.
That is a picture of Mr. Dooley's pickup truck in the processing bay at the Boone County Sheriff's Department.
Commonwealth's Exhibit 121.
Again, whenever we do a crime scene, a car is just sort of a microcosm of a crime scene. We start at the outside and kind of work our way in. So we're taking exterior pictures of the vehicle at this time.
Commonwealth's Exhibit 122.
Is the truck bed of Mr. Dooley's pickup truck.
Commonwealth's Exhibit 123.
Is the driver's seat area of the pickup truck.
Commonwealth's Exhibit 124.
And that is the floor mat area of the driver's side.
Commonwealth's Exhibit 125.
This is the back of the seat from the driver's side.
126. Commonwealth's Exhibit 126.
At that juncture, what I did was those are all the exterior photos and the areas that I wanted to test for the presence of blood in the cab of the vehicle. I used a visual lighting technique to light the inside. A lot of times a good flashlight is your best friend when you're trying to find small items of evidence, be it blood, trace evidence, things of that nature. So again, I used the flashlight, didn't see anything visually. All the areas that were just shown, I applied the same blue star to it that we applied in the office, and came up with negative results.
Okay. And what else did you do? What did you do after you're done processing the truck? Or photographing the truck?
There was a item of evidence, potential evidence in the vehicle,
Okay, that's Commonwealth's Exhibit 126.
and it was a folding knife. But again, using flashlight and a visual examination, I didn't see any traces of blood.
Okay, and did that conclude your examination of the defendant's truck?
It did.
Okay. That same day, did you also do an inspection of another vehicle?
I did.
Okay, whose vehicle was that?
That was Dan Mockbee, the victim's husband.
Okay, and if you could, Commonwealth's Exhibit 127.
This is the initial photography that I took, again, of the exterior. That is the vehicle. This commenced at approximately 12:30 in the afternoon.
And Commonwealth's Exhibit 128.
Interior of Mr. Mockbee's vehicle.
Commonwealth's Exhibit 129.
Again, the interior of Mr. Mockbee's vehicle, there was a lot of stuff in Mr. Mockbee's vehicle. He had a lot of things sort of in there. So just attempting to show that it was rather cluttered when we executed the consent search.
Commonwealth's Exhibit 130.
Again, it's the cluttered rear of the vehicle.
Can you identify what this is here? This right here?
some type of white container.
But you don't have an independent recollection of what
I
that
do
is?
not have an independent recollection of that.
Okay, did you find anything in the van that you thought noteworthy?
I did.
Commonwealth Exhibit 131.
This is a firearm that I located in the vehicle. Despite the fact that, at least initially, we didn't have any reports from the medical examiner of a gunshot wound. This is a homicide, so we want to make sure that we document everything. So we did document the firearm that was in the vehicle.
And what's going on in Commonwealth Exhibit 132?
Again, we tested a myriad of things for the presumptive presence of blood. The other thing that was in there that was pseudo weaponish was the hatchet. We tested that with phenolphthalein and got a negative reaction. You can see actually the phenolphthalein kit that I described to you in the upper left-hand corner. That is the chemistry that we use to conduct that test.
Is it reliable?
Yes. It's what the Kentucky State Police Lab uses, and I've used for the length of my career.
After you were done photographing and searching Mr. Mockney's van, what did you do?
Later that day, I executed a search warrant on the person of Mr. Dooley.
Did you take a photograph of him?
I took multiple photographs. Whenever we execute a search warrant on the person, what we're looking for is any type of injuries from struggles or lack thereof. All of that is documented for purposes of the investigation.
And is that Commonwealth Exhibit 133?
Yes, this is one of the photographs I took of Mr. Dooley.
Okay. Did you do anything else that day?
I did not.
You think we're at a good stopping point, or you're going into another category that's going to be longer?
Yeah, I am. So it would be a good stopping point,
I
actually.
know we had talked about that with Jersey, and I told me to let him go at 5, so if that's a good breaking point, we can do so.
Great, thank you.
We'll break through that. During the trial of any case, it is a duty not to form or express an opinion until the case is submitted to you, not to converse with or allow yourselves to be addressed by any other person on any subject of the trial. Further, an officer, party witness, or attorney should talk to you without permission of the court. You're instructed to report unlawful attempts to contact you as described previously to the bailiff or to myself. And also, do not research, read, listen to, or view any news media accounts of the trial. This includes utilizing your own phones or computers during the trial or at home to research the trial or any witness. And don't visit any place in which any material fact occurred without authorization from the court. Report tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. And I know you got a calendar, and it is 8:30. We made that up. It was kind of for the attorneys. They're always there at 8:30 at least. So yours we'll start at 9 unless we have an issue. We let you know, and I'll check with you first.
We leave our notes here, correct?
Leave your notes here and your buttons.
And your buttons.
You can just turn them upside down from your seat if you want. Nobody cleans or anything. We keep them locked when everybody leaves. So. And then you'll just report back to the jury room again tomorrow morning. The attorney's approach.